Today what we're going to do is go further on what we learned from last Friday on Trig. We talked about sine, cosine, and tangent, and we learned to find them with a right triangle. And then we also did it on our graphing calculator, so we learned how to do that. Does anyone remember when you hit second sine? When you're trying to find the angle. That's important because we're going to have to do that again today. All right, so first of all, what we are going to do is one of the reasons we have sine and cosine and tangent is when we have a right triangle, you can use those to find a missing side and a missing angle. So these problems here are asking us to find that. So when I'm doing a problem like this, the first thing I do is I always mark the angle that I'm given. That's not the right angle. I never use the right angle in here at all, okay? Then you're gonna mark the 12 as either opposite, hypotenuse, or adjacent. What would the 12 be? Opposite, because it's a cross. Very good. And then across from the right angle, what would that be? Hypotenuse. Good. Okay. Now, I did write these here, and you guys have these on a cheat sheet. But remember we learned last week about SOHCAHTOA, and that is a way, if you didn't have the formulas with you, a way that you can remember them. But what we want to do now is look at what two sides we're given, which in this case we're given opposite and hypotenuse, and we're going to look at which of our trig functions has those two sides. And it's what? If you look, it's sine, right? So if we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go sine of our angle, which in this case is 63. Now, I always write, as I'm writing this, what sine is. You guys wouldn't have to do this step, but opposite over hypotenuse. And then what I do is I substitute in what I know. And the opposite side is 12. The hypotenuse is x. And then I put this over 1 and I do cross products, okay? That's how I solve these, is I set them up like a proportion. So I'm gonna put this over 1, and then I'm gonna do cross multiplying, and I'd get sine of 63x equals 1 times 12, which is 12, okay? Now that's sine of 63 times x. How do you think we could get rid of that? Dividing, yes. So we're gonna divide by sine of 63. Okay, these cancel. So you're gonna go to your calculator and you are just gonna type in 12. And actually with mine, I'm gonna make sure I'm in the right mode. Those of you that were gone on Friday, Avery, do you have a calculator?
I left it in my backpack.
Okay, I'll grab you one. Anyone else gone on Friday? Dexter, did you learn how to, or not Dexter, AJ, did you learn how to put it in the correct mode? Okay, I'll show you. So for what we're doing, what we're going to do is we're gonna hit mode right here on your calculator, and we're gonna go down to the 4th row, and we're gonna put our calculator in degree mode, okay? So I'm gonna go down to that 4th row. I'm gonna use my right arrow so that degree is flashing, and then I'm gonna hit enter. Now that it's flashing on degree, I have it in the correct mode. And when you want to get out of a screen, what you can do is go second mode and that will clear that screen and bring you back to your original. And there's a way that you can check if your calculator is in the correct mode or not. You can hit sine 90 and it should be 1. If it is, that means you're good to go. I also showed them on Friday how to get an online graphing calculator, which I could show you that too, like after I'm done. But on that one, whenever you start it, you have to switch the mode to degree. When you do that on like your MCA test, you're gonna have to go in and switch it to degree or you'd get those wrong, okay? All right, so what we're doing here is we're typing in 12 divided by sine 63, and we're gonna round to 2 decimal places. So it's gonna be 13.47. So our answer is 13.47. Okay. Then when I go down here to this one, again, I'm gonna mark the angle that I'm given, which is our 36. Then I have to label what the X and what the 7 is. So what side is the X? It's opposite. It's across from the 36. And then what is the 7? Adjacent. Remember, adjacent is when it's in between the right angle and our angle. And adjacent means like right next to. So it's the leg that's right next to your angle. And then of course this side is across from 90, so that's your hypotenuse. Now we have to decide what trig function deals with adjacent and opposite. So which one is it? Tangent. So what we're gonna do is go here and we're gonna go tangent of our angle 36. And again, you could skip this step, but it's opposite over adjacent. And then I'm gonna substitute in what I know. The opposite side is X and 7 is adjacent. So again, how I show these is I put it over 1 and I do cross products. Now this is really important. So when I'm doing a problem like this, I try not to have to worry about parentheses. So what I do when I multiply a trig ratio or a trig function times a whole number or any number, I put the number in front of the trig function. Then you don't have to worry about parentheses at all, okay? And then that is gonna equal X, and then we're just gonna go ahead and type that in, and we get 7 tan 36. And this one, when we round it to 2 different places, did you guys get 5.09? Okay. And you can kind of use common sense too, like when you're done, think of like, if that side is 7, does it seem reasonable that this would be 5.09? Like if you got this to be 0.005, that's not gonna be a side length. That means you maybe did second tan or something like that. So kind of use common sense too when you're doing this. So now I'm going to mark my angle again. What side is the 24? Opposite. And then how about the X? The X is hypotenuse. Now what trig function is that? That is your sine. Sine again is opposite over hypotenuse. So we're gonna go down here and I'm gonna do sine of our angle, which is 61, and sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So then we're gonna go sine 61 opposite is 24, hypotenuse is x. Okay, and then again, I put it over 1 and I do cross products, so I'm gonna go sine 61x equals 1 times 24 is 24, okay? This is sine 61 times x, so we're gonna divide by sine 61. These are gone, and now what you're gonna do is take and divide that. So we're gonna go 24 divide by sine 61. Did you guys get 27.44? Okay. So our answer is 27.44. And then again, if you wanted to think like, does that answer make sense? So we got x to be 27.44. Have I talked to you guys about how you can, in a triangle, your biggest side is across from your biggest angle? Did I talk about that yet? So in a right triangle, your hypotenuse should always be the biggest side. And 27 is bigger than 24, so that does make sense, okay? Just like if this is 61, this would be 29. So the 61 opposite side should be bigger than the 29, okay? All right, so now if we look down at this bottom one, again, I mark this. What's the 19? Which side is that? Hypotenuse. And then my x is between the right angle and my angle, adjacent. Which of our trig functions deals with hypotenuse and adjacent? Cosine, yes. So it's this one right here. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're gonna go cosine of our angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. So I'm going cosine 27 equals, my adjacent side is x, my hypotenuse is 19. Put this over 1, and I'm gonna do cross products. When I multiply this, do you guys remember what I said to do? Put 19 in the front. So we're gonna go 19 times cosine 27, and that equals x. And if you do that, 19 cosine 27, did you guys get 16.93? Okay. One thing I want to remind you guys of before I finish here, and I just want to tell you while I'm remembering. Do you guys all remember tomorrow you're going to my classroom in the high school? Okay. And the other thing that I was going to tell you is tomorrow I have like a trig escape room is what it is. So you do problems and you get like a code, and then you do more problems and you get a code. So that's what you're gonna do. Mr. Horning is your sub. So do you guys want him to meet you here, or are you okay getting over there? You're all okay just going to my high school classroom? Okay, sounds good. All right, so we have one last type of question we're gonna learn today, and that is to use a calculator to find the measure of angle B. So in your directions for this, they're gonna tell you which angle you wanna find. In this case, it's gonna be one of these, they call them the acute angles of the right triangle. And in this particular problem, they want us to find angle B. So I mark that. And then what I do is, again, label what two sides I have. What would I call the 14? Opposite. And what would I call the 8 adjacent. So again, these are on your cheat sheet, but which one deals with adjacent and opposite? Tangent down here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go tangent, and in these, we don't know the angle, so we're gonna go tangent of B equals, and it's opposite over adjacent. So then it would be tangent of B equals opposite is 14, adjacent is 8, okay? On our previous problems, notice we knew our angle and we were looking for one of the sides. That's when we do cross products. Here, we know both the sides, we're looking for the angle. And at the beginning of the hour, I said, how did we know when we were going to do second tan? And that was when we were looking for the angle. So when you're doing this, we talked a little bit on Friday, that second tan looks like this. It's called inverse tan. And whenever you're looking for the angle, what you're gonna do is this. So I'm looking for the measure of angle B. I'm gonna type into my calculator, second tan, a parenthesis is gonna come up, and then I'm gonna put this in as a division problem. So I'm gonna go 14 divided by 8. You don't even have to put the other parenthesis, I don't believe. So if we do that, I'm gonna do second tan, 14 divided by 8. Did you guys get 60.26? And then again, if we think about, does that sound like a reasonable angle? It does. If you did this wrong, you would have gotten a decimal less than 1. That's not going to be an angle. Your angle should always be between 1 and less than 90. Okay? Oh, that's actually 2.6. All right. Then, if we go to our next one, that one is going to be the same. And again, it's the directions that tell us which angle we're finding. And this directions tells us to find angle B. So then I label my sides. What is the 39? 39 is across from the right angle, so that is my hypotenuse. 7 is between my angle and the right angle, so that is adjacent. And then we're gonna think of what trig function is that. So adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine, right? So we're gonna go cosine of angle B is adjacent over hypotenuse, and cosine of B, adjacent is 7, hypotenuse is 39. So again, we're looking for the angle, so that's when we do second cosine. So when I go to find this angle, I'm gonna type in second cosine, a parenthesis is gonna come up, and then I'd go 7 divided by 39, okay? So, second cosine, 7 divided by 39. Did you guys get 79.66? Okay. And that also is an angle between 1 and 90, so that sounds like it makes sense. Let's do one more of these. So if we look at this one, we're doing angle B. That's just what the directions tell us. What side is the 30? Hypotenuse, and the 25 is adjacent. So then what we're going to do is think about what trig function does that entail, and that's cosine, okay? So I'm going to do cosine of B is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay. The adjacent side is 25. The hypotenuse is 30. And when I go to find angle B, that's when we do second cosine, 25 divided by 30. Okay? So second cosine 25 divided by 30. Did you get 33.56? So do you guys think you'll know when you use cross products and when you use second tan? Yeah. Cross products when you're looking for a side. Second tan when you're looking for the angle. Okay? So your assignment for today is a worksheet. It's in Schoology. So if you pull that up, it'll tell you which ones to do on the top of the pages. Do you guys want to watch this video? So when you go to Schoology, the worksheet should be linked there, and then the problems should be written on top of each page. So there's a school that has put out a couple different videos, and this is one of them. This is, I'm the boring woman, old woman at the beginning.
Good morning, guys. I am so excited because we are finally going to start our unit on trigonometry this morning.
Is there a way we can make this more fun or something?
On your mark, ready, set, let's go. Trigonometry, bro, I know you know. I go psycho when I see a triangle. You just can't say. You gotta get tricky with it. That's it. 3 angles, 3 sides. T-R-I-G, all up in my eye. Soka, Toa, will tell you where to go. You just gotta know about H, A, and O. Everybody looking at a glance at the box. The H, Y, P is sitting across. Theta, theta, is that the eta, eta?
Theta is just like X.
Beside your main function is the OPP. Making it tricky, we want you to see. Yo, what's that last side you say? It's gotta be the AJ. Get tricky with it. Get tricky with it. Get tricky with it. Get tricky with it.
What? You want to solve for the trig? Watch your step, you might fall trying to work this gig. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it, toe up. In the middle of the problem, don't know which one. You gotta know which angles and sides that are missing and given in the problem. They're the guides. You can come with me, all these problems I've tried. Heard it's hard, well then somebody lied. And suck it, toe up, helps you study, so you know when to use each one. Then you got the O and HYB, so let's you know such a way to go. Let's say now you got the HYB and the ADJ, then cosine's the way, yes, y'all. But there's one more. You got the legs?
That makes it tan.
Getting tricky with it. Getting tricky with it. Getting tricky with it. Getting tricky with it.
Roll with me right now. If you need a sign, you gotta know 2 things. Okay, let's ride. You need an angle and one of the sides. Teaching is where does X reside. To see it up high, that's how you know to multiply.
They show this a little different than what I did.
Take to the maximum of the axonum. How about the one time you gotta use division? Only if X is down below. X and the angle will switch, you know. Last case, it's angle finding time. So let's get it. Trust. The theta is the goal. Get it alone. Calculators will know when I say go. Take the inverse of the numbers on the right. Hit equals and show it off. Now you got it. Get tricky with it. Get tricky with it. Get tricky with it. Get tricky with it.
The rest of it is just kind of singing and dancing. All right, so you guys can work. If you want to work with somebody,
Yeah, I forgot that I didn't do it. Oh, that almost puffed up.
Y'all want to get tricky with it real quick?
Preston, I'm excited.